If you are brand new to cozy gaming, or you've just finished your first cozy game, maybe it was Animal Crossing, just like it was for me. You finished it and you're like, huh, I liked that. Now what? Well, this video is for you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Payton. It is nice to meet you, it is nice to see you, and welcome to the corner. All of the time, I am constantly asked about my cozy game recommendations, and this whole channel serves as a way to answer my cozy game recommendations for you. But specifically, a lot more recently, I'm seeing a lot of people ask me what are some good cozy games to start out with. Either you've never played a cozy game before, or you're just getting started. What are some good ones that are staples, but aren't gonna be super crazy complicated? Today I've compiled a list of my personal picks for beginner cozy games. Now, this isn't to say that these games are simple. This isn't necessarily easy mode. And also, importantly, beginner does not equal boring. So, I personally recommend all of these games. I've tried to give you a wide amount of genres and styles, as well as they're going to be available for some different platforms. Before we get into it though, please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content. And if you want to see me play cozy games live, please be sure to check out my live streams, as I live stream several times a week on this YouTube channel, and we would love to see you to stream. Okay, I will shut up. Let's get into the games. Now, I feel as though I can't start the beginner cozy game video without mentioning the game that got me into cozy gaming. This game might be the reason you're here, because you might have played this game and thought, okay, I need more now. This first game is only on Nintendo Switch, but it's one of the best games on the Switch. This game is called Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons sees your character move to a deserted island that needs a little bit of help. Alongside some interesting looking animal friends, it's your job to completely build up the island, notably with the mechanic to terraform the island's terrains, including rivers and cliffs and paths. You can really build up the island to make it something special. The main goal of the game is to clean up the island and make it desirable enough that other villagers want to move in, other NPCs want to set up shop, and most importantly, a famous naked dog musician called KK Slider wants to come to your island to put on a big concert. But in addition to this, you're also going to be managing filling up a museum with different fish, bugs, fossils, and even art, and getting to know a very large cast of colorful characters, whether it be the villagers that live on your island, that come and visit via campsite, or the NPCs that'll stop by to try and sell you their various items. Now, Animal Crossing New Horizons is a ginormous game, okay? Especially compared to most of the other indie games that you'll see on this cozy game list. Animal Crossing really is that good. And why I recommend this as a beginner cozy game, not just because it's the one that got me started, of course, but I think it got me started and so many people because there is so much creativity and freedom to it. And because of that, because there aren't so many quests and things to do all of the time in the game, and yet there is so much to do in the game, it gives an inherently cozy feeling. I think what makes Animal Crossing New Horizons so unique is it pays so much emphasis on creation. You've pretty much finished the main plot of the game very quick. You can, of course, take it at your own pace, but it's not going to take you years to get KK Slider to move to your island. It might, you could take your time, but for most people, it's not gonna take you that long. And what does take you that long is brainstorming how you want your island to look. This YouTube channel started as an Animal Crossing New Horizons channel, and it started with me making island designs that I'd never seen before. I made my islands into really weird themes that I hadn't seen done before, challenging myself artistically on how far I could take the terraforming tool in the game and really make something unique. So I made islands shaped like the Starry Night painting. I made islands shaped like a volcano and islands shaped like a rat on a film clapper board. and more, because there really is so many different things to do in the game. The DLC of the game, Happy Home Paradise, is another way to get even more hours and hours of creativity and expression, as you have 300 plus different villagers in the game that need your help designing them a vacation home, and you can spend as much time or as little time as you want doing it. And then even if you don't like the decorating, if that is not your favorite part of the game, like it is for me, there's also a great amount of fishing to do and bug collecting and fossils in case you're a completionist and you like to discover a little bit of everything, as well as there's like 300 plus villagers in the game. So if you're more interested in kind of like, I don't consider this one a creature collection game, but if you're interested in that component of experiencing all of the characters there is to experience, you have that option too. There's a little bit of planting in this one with the gardening. There's a complex flower breeding system. There are a lot of things to do in Animal Crossing, and it gives you the permission to play it the way you want it. And that's why I think it's a really great cozy game for beginners. The next cozy game on the list is one of the most underrated cozy games that have come out this year. This year has been a huge year for cozy games, no doubt, and this one is one I don't see people talk about that much, but it's a really short and sweet experience that I personally enjoyed. This one's available for PC, and this game is called Refresh. Refresh is a short and simple 3D exploration platformer collectathon game where you play as a little robot who needs to collect materials to help your town after a torrential storm. Refresh, I think, is such a great introduction to modern platforming games. I really like this game because it's not too simple, where it's no think ridiculously easy, but it's also not complex where it's frustrating and you want to like rage quit it. You're a really cute robot and you need to go around and find all of these parts, and you're meeting different villagers along the way. It's a shorter experience, but I think it's a nice taste, especially to see if you're interested in platforming games, because there definitely are some intense platforming games, even in the world of cozy gaming. So I think that this one is a really nice, short and sweet time to start out with if you're new to this style of game. The next game on the list is like a cult classic for cozy gaming. I feel like whenever you hear cozy games, or you Google cozy games, this will be one of the first one that comes up, but it's for a reason. This game is available on all of the things, PC, Nintendo Switch. It's actually on mobile now too. This game is called Unpacking. Unpacking is a Zen puzzle game about the familiar experience of pulling possessions out of boxes and then fitting them into a new home. This game is part block fitting puzzle and part home decoration, as you're invited to create a satisfying living space while learning clues about the life you're unpacking. You'll follow a character across many stages of their life, and you'll get to unpack multiple different rooms in their home, whether it be the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, and so on. You'll discover more and more about this character's life as you notice what objects you have to unpack. The game also features a relaxing soundtrack and the ability to be creative where you're placing things while also still trying to solve the puzzles. I think Unpacking is such a beloved cozy game because the mechanic is simple but fun. You're unpacking these boxes and figuring out where they go. There are some different options, so it's not super stressful where you have to find the exact perfect spot for everything. There are kind of guidelines you need to stay in, so it is a little bit creative but also puzzly. But what's interesting about this one is the narrative that unfolds as you go throughout the game. As you're watching a character unpack their belongings at different stages of their life, you don't see the character, you don't know anything about them, and the art style is so pleasing, the music is relaxing. It definitely succeeds in being simple and easy to follow if you're new to cozy gaming, but it succeeds in giving you a lasting impact, and it's definitely earned its spot as a favorite of most cozy gamers, myself included. The next game on the list is one of my favorites of the year. This game is perfect for all of you animal lovers, especially if you like puppies just like me. It's available for PC, for Nintendo Switch. This game is perfect if you liked Nintendogs as a kid, but then put that on an island. This game is called Little Friends Puppy Island. Little Friends Puppy Island is a puppy-filled adventure game where you'll get to discover exciting locations, dig up hidden treasures, build and expand your holiday resort, and meet plenty of lovable little friends to care for on your very own tropical island adventure. You'll make your way through tons of areas, gather resources, and help your puppy pals construct an array of new activity spots throughout the island. From puppy spas and puppy schools to frisbee parks and accessory shops, there's plenty for you and the locals to enjoy. Little Friends Puppy Island, I think, is such a great cozy game, but I'm recommending it for beginners because I think that it is just full of joy, but it's not too simple, but not too complex, that same kind of happy medium. You can prioritize just taking care of your dogs, which I would argue is pretty simple. You just have to bathe them when they're dirty, feed them, throw them toys, like a dog care simulator. But what makes this game more interesting is it's just not that entirely. It's also an exploration game. It's a building game where you're using your different dogs as workers on this lovely island for different fun locations. There are fun customizations. The world isn't like a big open world, but it's big enough that there are lots of different places to explore. There's mini games in it as well. And while there aren't that many dog breeds, the ones that are in the game are so adorable. And every time you see a new one, it is a really exciting experience. And for me, it's one that I've been enjoying so very much. The next game on the list is our newest entry, as this game just came out last month. And this game has been anticipated by so many cozy gamers for so very long, and I think it's actually a great game for beginners. This game is available for all the stuff. It's available for PC, for Nintendo Switch. This game is called MINEKO'S Night Market. MINEKO'S Night Market is a narrative-driven social simulation adventure game that is all about celebrating Japanese culture and also cats. In the game, you'll get to play as Mineko, a very curious girl who has just moved to a new home on a Japanese-inspired island. But as you may have guessed it, this town is not everything that it seems. All of the locals seem to worship a superstitious sun cat called Nico. Now, this sun cat was always thought to just be a myth or a story, but recent sightings of him around the town have gotten the locals wondering if maybe he's been real the whole time. It's your job to find out the truth about Nico while exploring and restoring your village to help it return to its former glory, all while you manage daily activities, jobs, interact with tons of NPCs, and most notably, participate in the weekly night market. Now, the night market will happen once a week in the game, and it'll be a great opportunity to play mini games, to sell and purchase new items, and also to get more information about the NPCs and about the Sun Cat. MINEKO'S Night Market is actually a little bit more simpler than I thought it would be. I talked about this in my review video that I made for the game, but I actually think it's not too hard to grapple with if you're new to cozy gaming or gaming in general. Because the main gameplay mechanic is pretty much just going around talking to villagers, foraging different flowers, and then crafting them and selling them at the local night market. It's definitely not the most complicated, but the art style is really inviting, the characters and the dialogue are really fun, the mini games are the right amount of challenging, and there is story to guide you. I think having a bit of story is really good for cozy games for beginners. At least it is for me. Sometimes I don't like cozy games where I'm just like thrown into it and I'm like, what the heck do I do? I kind of like to be guided. This one will guide you quite a bit, and I think it's a really enjoyable experience that even a beginner can find a lot in. The next game on the list is also a newer game, as this one also came out in September. This game is one of the simplest farming sim games. If you want to get into farming sims, but you're overwhelmed, you don't want to jump right into Stardew Valley or Coral Island or whatever, this is a great one to start out with because it puts farming sim on such a smaller scale. It is cute and easy to follow. This game is available for Switch and for PC. This game is called Sprout Valley. Sprout Valley is a farming sim game where you can step back from the busy days of your life and just grow the garden of your dreams. You'll play as the main character, Nico, an adorable little cat who just wants to find a peaceful place to live in. You'll help Nico find friends and discover interesting events. As Nico, you'll get to turn your overgrown island into a beautiful farm by raising crops, gathering resources from nature, crafting and furnishing your island, traveling to other islands, meeting tons of cute characters, and enjoying over 15 hours of story. For me personally, I thought this game was a little bit simple, but I think for me, I have gotten used to the more complex farming sims, and I know that starting out with Stardew Valley as your first farming sim is tough, because that's what I tried to do, and at first I didn't like it. It took me quite a bit of time and playing other farming sim games to really find the joy and appreciation in complicated farming sim games like Stardew Valley, like Sunhaven, games that have a lot of stuff going on and they don't really like hold your hand to kind of help you through it. This one I think is great because it is so much simpler. It is smaller, literally the area is smaller, and it still teaches you the basics of a farming sim game, and it is a really cute and relaxing experience. Definitely not a lot of high stakes in this one compared to other farming sims, and I think it's a great one to check out. Speaking of farming sim games, if you want to get into farming but you want something a little bit more complicated while still definitely being beginner, this one is great for those of you who want to do some farming, but also want a little bit of magic, but also really like story-based games. This game's also available for like all of the stuff. This one is available for Switch, PC, and for Mac and iOS as well. This game is called WYLDE Flowers. WYLDE Flowers is a fully voice-acted farming sim game that isn't just farming, it's farming and a little bit of magic. In the game, you'll play as Tara, who has just moved to a cute rural island to help out her grandma and her family farm. You'll get to know a memorable cast of characters, each with intriguing, deep backstories to find friendship or even romance. You'll relax into your lifestyle as you tend to crops, care for animals, fish, craft, and more throughout the day, but at night, you will nurture your inner witch as you learn to fly your broomstick, brew potions, control the weather, seasons, and even transform into a cute little cat. Now, I think WYLDE Flowers is so good for beginners because it is a voice-acted, very story-driven game. I definitely was critical of this game when I first played it because the story is very intense. And for me, it hit a little home, so definitely a content warning, especially if you're sensitive to material surrounding an elderly loved one and taking care of them. It definitely has some emotional moments in it, but I think this one is great for beginners because the tools auto-equip, you don't have to worry about that so much. You start out with a lot lower stamina, which is something I didn't really enjoy personally in the game, but I think it's actually good because you don't have to do like 8 million things in the game at once, and it is a more of a slow upgrade process. The magic is fun and it's easy to follow through, and it's just got a lot of really nice cutscenes and characters that have dimension. You don't have to do a lot with your brain in this game. I feel like they give you so much, and then you can just take what they give you and do with it what you will, rather than a lot of other farming sim games where they're like, here is farm, goodbye, go do it. This one definitely will help you out a bit. The next game on the list is my weird option for you, as I always gotta put in a little bit of a weird entry. This has been one of my favorite games of the year. It's a shorter experience, it's weird, but I think it's great for beginners, and I think it's a fun time. This game is available for all the stuff as well, and this game is called Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories. Melon Journey Bittersweet Memories is a story exploration game with a nostalgic Game Boy-esque graphic style that's all about getting caught up in the outlandish happenings of a small town where melons are illegal. Silly and cute on the surface, but things aren't as peaceful as they may seem. In the game, it's your job to explore, meet crazy characters, and talk a lot about lemons. I love this game. It is so silly and it is so fun. It gives nostalgic vibes with its art style, and the gameplay mechanic is very simple, but it's really fun. Pretty much all you have to worry about in this game is going from room to room to room to room to find whatever it is that you need. It's not super complex, but it's complex enough where it's not like, there's 2 rooms to choose from and I wonder which it could be. You definitely have to pay attention and you definitely have to investigate a little bit to get to the bottom of the story, but this is another one that kind of will take you along the ride, and it is a fun ride to take. Definitely a great one if you like the nostalgic style of gaming. This one is giving early like Game Boy game, and I absolutely love it. It is definitely a fun little journey to go on. And the last game on the list is my most recommended game ever, especially when people ask me for beginner cozy games. This is always my #1 choice, but I put it at the end because I talk about it in every single video I make all the time, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably heard me explain this game so many times. So I'm sorry, but I stand by it. This is like the best game, I think, for cozy gaming beginners. It's one of my favorites. It's available for all the stuff. This game is called OOBLETS. OOBLETS is a relaxing, quirky, and certainly unique game all about farming, town life, and of course, creature collection. In OOBLETS, you move to a vibrant town called Badgetown, where you find cute little, what I call, monster babies, known as OOBLETS. It's your job to build up the old farm, as well as restore the main image of the town, while getting to collect as many OOBLETS as you can to help in research about them. But not only that, you'll get to venture to different areas all around the world of Oob, getting to meet a cast of very colorful characters, and meeting more and more OOBLETS. You'll get to engage in dance battles to acquire your OOBLETS, which take card-based battling into the world of dance and coziness, as well as you'll get to engage in customization for both your character, the OOBLETS, and also your farm. OOBLETS is a game that'll allow you to play at your own pace or really dive into this deep storyline of how the world of Oob got so disconnected in the first place. OOBLETS is such a good game, and it's so good for beginners because it introduces you to so many different genres. There's farming in it, but the farming, not that complex. There's exploring and like foraging, great, not that complex. Creature collection and deck building, but guess what? It's not that intense, and it's dance battles instead of battles, so if you don't like combat, you could still like this one. There is customization, there are fun characters, there are quests to do, and a main storyline, but none of it ever feels super overwhelming. Yet, there are challenges in the game. This one isn't easy mode for sure. Sometimes you definitely have to work, especially for the resources you need, but it really does do such a good job of being welcoming. I think they teach you how to play the game enough. They don't just throw you out there and let you figure it out yourself. And there are so many things to do where it doesn't feel overwhelming, where you have to do a certain thing and just follow the main story. You can pick and choose what your favorite parts of the game are and really lean into it. It is a colorful, fun, cozy game, and I cannot recommend it enough. And there you have it. Those were my picks for some of my favorite cozy games for beginners. But I want to know your thoughts down below. Let me know either what was your first cozy game that really got you into cozy games? Or what games do you like to recommend to your friends who might be new to cozy gaming? I want to know. Let me know down below. Please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!